Yo, 2008 Kia Sportage has a little power steering leak out of this power steering pressure line. It's spewing right out, spitting out that way really bad. And it looks like not a fun job because it's kind of buried behind a rack and pinion, and there's no room for any of this stuff. It doesn't even belong there as far as I'm concerned. First thing I'm going to do is get this tire out of my way, 21 millimeter. I have a plastic cover here that's got 4 10 millimeters on it. There's a heat shield on this rack and pinion I'm going to have to get off. I see a 10 millimeter right here for it. I got a swivel socket on a 1/4 inch drive and a really long extension. I'm underneath the vehicle now, and it looks like there's some kind of bar clamp right here. I'm just going to use a pry bar and try to pry this off. There's a cute little annoying metal tab where I took this bolt out. I got this hook tool in here, and I put it behind there and wiggle it around and pop that thing out. Looking like there's going to be an alternator plug in my way. I can swirl my hand up here, and there's a tab you push in on the back of the plug. There's a 10 millimeter on this power steering hose clamp. That bolt's so rusted out, it's stripped. Lovely. 3/8 socket is a hair smaller. Some kind of sick luck there. This clamp is gone. Totally rusted to nothing. Now, by some triumph of miracles, I'm going to try to swirl this heat shield out of here somehow. Just yank down on the thing, I guess. I got it out. There's a couple 10 millimeters with clamps on them, bolting this line onto the power steering rack. There's another clamp right here. I got that bolt out. Now I have the high pressure hose here, and I have the return line here. It looks like they're clamped together. I took the bolts out, but the clamps, they don't come apart. So I'm thinking I gotta take the pressure line and the return line and take them both out at the same time. So I got a clamp on here I'm gonna remove. Of course, that's gonna make a mess. The other end of it, there's a heat shield around it, and it looks like there's a zip tie on it. I got a side cutter in there, and I'm gonna cut that off. And then I can peel this heat shield back and get at this other clamp. I have a 17 millimeter line wrench here and a regular 21 millimeter wrench here. Do the wrench on a wrench trick, get a little more leverage out of it. Oh my, it's all broke so bad I could just cut the line off. Wow, there was almost nothing left of that line. Now I can just use an impact wrench. That comes off easy. Might as well take the other tire off. That way I can sort of get at this line. Sorta not. Oh my gosh. What do I do? Looks like I might have just enough room to knock this loose with my line wrench. That actually wasn't very tight. I I got a little stubby 17 millimeter I can get in here now easily. Looks like there's one of two ways this thing can come out, through the driver's side or the passenger side. I'm gonna go with driver's side. I got it. I got this hose set from O'Reilly's. That's the part number. It's fun. You can buy one of these hoses individually for about $45, or you can get both of them for about $50. So I thought it was wise to get both of the high pressure hoses. In the meantime, I got to get these little clamps off. There's little tabs on here I gotta bend. They give me new rubbers. Yeah, this isn't fitting right. The hoses are actually smaller, so I won't be using these. Just like so. They're a little floppy and loose because there's little rubber things here. I'm just going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to take up some slack with some zip ties. There we go. It's all pro. There, it's not rattling around anymore, so I'm going to call that good. Now I got to jam this back in the hole. I think I'm going to have a little more room if I get this tie rod out of my way. I'm going to take this cotter pin out. 17 millimeter on this. Give this a good whack with a hammer right down here. Loosen that up, and that should give me a little more room to work with. You know, bungee cord the thing out of the way. I got a little rubber O-ring here I gotta put around this. Put a little power steering fluid on the O-ring, lubricate it up a little bit. Before I go bolting these brackets on, I'm gonna wanna start this. Because these lines, a lot of times, they don't go in the way you want them to a lot of times. So I'm gonna wanna make sure this lines up before I go bolting everything on. Yeah, I gotta bend this line just a little bit, I think. Yeah, that's not square. And I got this started. I guess I'll try for this studded bracket next. This other clamp is not lining up at all, and it's all about the way this line is bent. So I can try to bend the line a little bit with a pry bar. Try to get this thing on here. I can't even see the hole, so I don't know where I'm at. Looks like I bent it pretty close.
Using a mirror so I can try to see the hole.
I bent that line in just the right way. I got this thing to start. Now I suppose I can try my luck at trying to get this heat shield back in. It looks much better with it out. The bolt is in. More amazing. Might as well plug this low pressure hose on. Suppose I can plug my alternator wire back in. This top cover's got to come off. 10 millimeters on it. Looks like a 24 millimeter on here. Ooh. Ooh, I broke this tab. Damn, man, what the heck? Oh, that nut underneath is spinning. Oh no, what do I do? I guess I'm gonna try to hold this down with a channel lock like so. Try to use an impact on this thing. Hopefully it'll come off. Oh, it did. Oh, luck. Okay, this just comes out. I'm gonna give this nut a tweak, make sure it's tightened back up. Like so. I got 2 new copper sealing washers. This one's kind of bent. But I don't see any kink marks in it or anything, so I'm sure it'll crush down real nice. I'm just tightening it real good to feel them washers crush. And they crush. I can put this back on. Time for the hoser. The Thailanders put an 18 millimeter nut on here instead of a 17. 24 millimeter and an 18 millimeter. I don't know the torque of any of this stuff. All I gotta say is if it leaks, get it tighter. I gotta bend this line a little bit to get it to kind of match up with that a little bit. Since there's nothing left of that clamp that was around here, I'm gonna have to use a little ingenuity. Can we call it a fix with a hose clamp? My sources say yes. 80 foot-pounds on these tires. Now for the power steering fluid. I looked in the owner's manual, it calls for PS3, which is actually ATF3, but the upgraded is ATF plus 4. So that's what belongs in here. The fluid that was in it was red too. I asked the parts store to give me some power steering fluid with these lines, and they tried to sell me regular power steering fluid. So you're gonna have to watch out for that because the parts stores are gonna be wrong. I'm gonna fill this all the way up to the top. The full line's all the way up here. You can see it says hot. And then there's a line down here is just cold. Oh wait, there's cold over here, hot's over here. Minimum, hot, high, hot. That's okay, this should all pump right in, and then I just gotta steer the wheel from lock to lock and then shut the car off and let it sit, and do that a couple of times to kind of bleed the air out of it. And if you can't bleed the air out of these, if you still hear it moaning and cavitating, you pull it all the way to lock and turn the key off, and then just hold it there for like 10 or 15 seconds, and that'll help build the air pressure out to the top of the reservoir. Do that a few times and check the fluid and make sure it don't leak, and you should be good. Okay, bye.